today I thought I might discuss stress management with you guys because super important. We're all self-isolating or social distancing, or at least we should be at this point. So that can come with its own inherent stressors. So I suppose stress management is important at this point. So what I thought I might discuss with you guys today is just stress management in terms of controlling the controllables, something like I like to call the catastrophe scale, and then I'm going to talk about a little bit of self-care that can ease with, with managing or help alleviate some of the stressors in our life, okay? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the first thing, I suppose, is controlling the controllables, and it's probably the most important thing when it comes to stress, and this is just generally speaking, it's not like specific to the current situation we all find ourselves in. Control the controllables. There is so much of our lives that are out of our control, like the vast majority of the things that we have to engage with or come into contact with or experience, they're out of our control. There's only so much we can control. We can control a few things, however. So I would say just control the controllables, and all these things that are outside of our control that we can't manipulate or influence, or just stay within your scope of control and focus on that, and nothing more, but nothing less as well. So when things are in your control and you can help alleviate some of your own stress through self-care or self-love, let's do that. So in the current situation that we find ourselves in, what's being recommended by the WHO would be to stay 2 meters away from anybody else, minimum, to clean your workspace or your home as often as you can, because this particular virus can exist for 2 days on surfaces, so make sure you clean regularly and often. If you were to sneeze into an elbow, do a dab, or into a tissue, but if you use a tissue, make sure you throw it out afterwards. Wash your hands regularly, so as often as you can, and use antiseptic if you can, but if not, just wash your hands. And when you're washing them, make sure you wash for 20 seconds at a time. A proper wash of your hands, and then at least you're doing your part to control the controllables of your life and stopping it from spreading. It's important, guys, so control that. Nobody, we're all capable of washing our hands, staying away from people, cleaning surfaces. These are things that we are in control of, and when you're sneezing or coughing, just choose a correct way to do it, so into a napkin or a tissue and bin it, or into your elbow, not in your hands, because it spreads through hand contact. The 2 meters apart is because it also spreads from spit. So if I'm speaking to you, I could potentially spit on you if you're within two meters. Not intentionally, of course, but I could. So stay away, don't shake hands, elbow tap, knee tap to say hello, and just wash your hands regularly, guys. Just make sure you do it. We can stem, the transfer, the growth of this virus. We can control that. If we all take action and we're all accountable for our own behaviors, we can make a difference. So let's make sure we do, okay? And I know it's easier said than to do for a lot of people, and self-isolation or social distancing is difficult, but it's necessary. We're all in this together. So just make sure we do it while you're self-isolating or while you're social distancing. Just focus on yourself. If we can't go outward, let's go inward. So there's lots of stuff that we can do to help ourselves in this moment while we do have the moment. Let's take this as an opportunity for growth and use it to our advantage, because there's lots of stuff that we can do now in this unique scenario and situation that we all find ourselves in that potentially we mightn't have had the opportunity to do when we're busy living our lives. It's not going to come back to that now. Right, so when you are on social distancing or self-isolation, make sure you're still in your routine. So I get up at the same time as I do every other morning, 5 o'clock, FYI. So I'm up at 5, I'm exercising just either in my room or walking around campus here in Trinity College. I come back, I shower, I meditate, and then I'm having a healthy, nutritional breakfast, and then I'm at work and on my social media and writing my blogs and doing my PhD stuff. I'm currently writing a book, so it does not keep me going, but you should find something in your life that's going to be productive. Use this for an alternative growth to what you're accustomed to. But just don't let this opportunity slide, right? So let's look at ourselves. So core 4, I talk about this all the time, and regardless of who you are or what you're doing and what your current situation is, everybody in the whole planet should be doing the core 4. The first one I alluded to already, exercise. Every day you need to exercise for 40 minutes or to an hour, depending on intensity. But 3 days a week you need to work out of 40 minutes with high intensity, and 4 days a week you just got to move for the other 40 minutes to an hour at a lower to moderate intensity. Make sure that keeps getting done. Drinking water, guys. So you need 2 liters of water every day. It equates to 5 glasses. Find 5 glasses of water. Most of you are at home now. Find 5 glasses of water. Nutrition, make sure it's still on point. We could all like regress now into bad habits if we so wish, and we can kind of be defeated and start lessening or loosening our discipline and then starting to eat stuff that's not nutritional. Don't let that happen, guys. We'll all come through this. We'll come out the other side. Make sure you're in a good position coming out, because it is only a matter of time. This won't be forever. And then the last one is sleep. Crucial, guys. You need your sleep, so make sure you're still getting your 8 hours in. Like when I talk about the core 4, most of my clients, so when I'm doing public speaking, would tell me that sleep is one that they have the issue with. Leave technology outside of the bedroom, or at least turn it off. There's no business being in here, You're here to sleep. Make sure your bedroom is a sanctuary, that it's designed for sleep. Your bed is comfortable. Everything you need for sleep. Don't look at any devices an hour prior to when you intend on sleeping. So if I wanted to be asleep at 9, I would go to bed at 8 with no devices on, and I would read or I'd journal or something that would help me to relax without technology. And then I'm asleep by 9, like habitually. Like I'm asleep by 9, then I'm up at 5. But I practice good sleep hygiene. Keep the windows open. Your room temperature should be lower than your body temperature. No caffeine after lunch. So if you have a coffee, the caffeine stays in your system for 9 hours. And 6 hours later it's still half strength. So if I'm going to bed at 8 and I'm drinking a coffee at 5 and I can't sleep, well, I know whose fault that is. That's on me. So make sure you limit your caffeine after lunchtime if you want to get a good night's sleep. I think that's fairly self-explanatory, or it doesn't really require much explanation. It just, caffeine was used for pilots once upon a time to keep them awake. Do you know what I mean? It's real deal. So no coffee after lunch, ideally. That'll help you sleep. But maintain the core 4, guys. The core 4 is just fundamental, and it does not matter what the outside world is doing. Your inside world, you're doing the core 4. I'd recommend meditation, guys. This could be a chance for you to start engaging with a bit of meditation or a mindfulness practice. Insight Timer is the one that I always use, and I always recommend it. It's an app. It's fantastic. It's a free app. Well, you can also get premium, but the free app, there's a myriad of different types of meditations that you can do, and it's all late. It's guided meditation. It's real strong, and you can do like 5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, and there's all different things. So you can focus on manifesting your goals or relaxation or anxiety, whatever, but you can dictate what kind of meditation you want to do, and then you're guided through it. Real good. So if you haven't been meditating up to now, I would practice that, give it a go. For me, that's just the one that's just out of the core 4. So the core 4 I have is fundamental. Everybody should do it. Next level up, meditation. Get it into you. Journaling is also in that category. Connection, guys. So we gotta stay connected to people in our lives, and even though we can't see these people in this current situation, especially my parents, that breaks my heart. It was Mother's Day yesterday, but my parents are in that vulnerable age bracket, so I can't see them. But I'm still in contact. Make sure you're in contact. We have to stay connected. It's really important. Nobody can get through life on their own, so connection is super, super important. Make sure you get that done. Again, that's in the bracket just outside the core 4. So that's, I suppose, a bit of self-care. My core 4, I always talk about it, but we should be getting that done. The next one I mentioned was the catastrophe scale, right? So a catastrophe scale is if you're getting stressed, or you're anxious, or you're worried, or you're despondent, realistically gauge where your current situation is on your catastrophe scale. 10 is everybody you know is dead, the planet's on fire, you're the last one existing, real stress, doomsday stuff. And then let's say 1 is idyllic, kind of, paradise, everything's perfect. Where's your current situation at between 1 and 10? And be honest with yourself. you know. And if it's not in the 9-8 bracket, just give yourself a break, you know. Things could always be worse. So putting into that context, I think it's important. Like stoicism, stoic philosophy, is just like, what's the worst could happen, you know? Is this worth my stress? And more often than not, it's not. More often than not, the stuff we really stress and pause about, they aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. Nothing is permanent, so the good times don't last, so enjoy them while you have them. The bad times don't last either, so put the head down and get through it. And you will, we all will. But we'll get through this together, right? So we're together, but we're apart. So physically we can't be with one another, but we can do our part, you know? And if you're doing your part on your side by yourself in isolation, well, you're helping everybody else in your life, you know, the people that you really care about. You're doing your part. So make sure you do. Social distancing. I see all the time now on social media and the news, teenagers hanging out in groups. Stop that, lads. Real talk, it's important. And you're not invincible either, okay? So there's a lot of information going around saying the young people are invincible. You're not. But your parents definitely aren't. So if you want to look after your parents and your grandparents and older people, just stay at home by yourself. And that is serious. And that's how you can control this, because you're going to be down the line. You don't have regrets about your behaviour during this period of time. Step up now, lads, and you know, just box clever in a short time and just be responsible, okay? You'll be proud of yourselves afterwards. Yeah, look, it's just so important now that we look after ourselves, right? And we control the controllables. We put everything in context. We look after the people that, you know, are vulnerable in our lives. They've looked after us for so long. This is kind of our chance to give back. Just let's make sure that we do. And the best way to do that is just take personal responsibility and put yourself into a little bit of a self-isolation or social distancing environment for the short term. This isn't for life. But please don't do anything silly in the short term, because we are all in this together, and everybody's behavior at this moment in time are interconnected, and we're codependent, you know? We have to live independently and make independent choices for ourselves, but we are interdependent. Your behavior affects me, which affects my family, which affects my friends, which affects my loved ones, and vice versa. So I'm doing my part. Please make sure that you do the same. And you know it's nothing but love.